Hey folks, it's the Cobbler here with another video. This time we're going to be doing a brief comparison of the Smith & Wesson Model 36 and the Ruger LCRx. Now, this is going to be more of an out-of-the-box impression of these two firearms. It is not going to include any range time, and full disclosure, I have not fired either of these guns. I have owned a Smith & Wesson M&P Bodyguard, which is a direct equivalent of this Model 36, and did indeed fire that quite a bit before trading that one in. So, both of these guns were not available locally in stores, so I ordered them both online at the same time. And I gotta say that I did so much research on this and heard so many rave reviews about it that after I ordered both of these, I thought to myself, why did I order that Smith? I had a feeling I'm just not gonna want to keep it as compared to the Ruger LCRx. Spoiler alert, the exact opposite happened. Now, this video is not going to be discussing the specs of these guns. There are plenty of videos on YouTube and plenty of sites on the internet where you can get all of the stats that you want on these. I'll cover the basics, but that's about it. Also want to say this is not a video to determine which one of these is the best. Either of these could be the best for you, and that's something you're going to decide. This is just a video to give you a little more information, and frankly one that I wish I had access to before I made some of these decisions. That being said, I think we'll get a little more close up here and look at these guns and talk a little bit more about the different aspects of them. Okay, let's take a closer look at both of these firearms. First, a quick safety check. Show you that these are indeed unloaded. There we go. And we'll talk a little bit about the Smith & Wesson Model 36. So the word for this gun is iconic. This gun came out in 1950. It was originally called the Chief Special, and then they started calling it the Model 36. The reason it's iconic is if you can think of a movie with a private eye, a detective, or a gangster, there's a really good chance that this firearm is in it. And it really is a thing of beauty. And I think there's a reason it's been unchanged for this whole time. It's of course the classic J-frame revolver. Basically it's a steel frame, steel cylinder and barrel, and a walnut grip. It's chambered in .38 Special, 5-shot, little under 2-inch snub-nose revolver, rated for plus P, as is the Ruger LCRx. The weight on this gun is right at 19 ounces, so it is a little heavier, but those of you who know something about revolvers know that weight can really help with recoil, so it really can be your friend. Now, one thing you're going to notice right away with this Ruger LCRx is that it has a little bit of a rattle sound. And we'll see if my mic can pick it up. Now, there's nothing wrong with this gun. It's not broken. It's just part of the manufacturing process. I got to tell you, I don't like it. I want a revolver to feel solid. I don't want any rattle in it. I'm probably a little more of a traditionalist, and maybe that's it, but I just don't like that rattle. Now, the Ruger LCRx is really a contemporary version of a 5-shot snub-nose revolver. A lot of technical innovations went into this gun. Primarily its materials. It's basically polymer, aluminum, and steel cylinder and a steel-lined barrel. The weight of this gun is incredibly low. This is a very lightweight gun. It comes in at just 13.5 ounces. So really that would be a key difference between these two. 19 ounces here, 13.5 ounces here. It's still a 5-shot snubby, same barrel length, just under 2 inches. 38 special, also rated for plus P. So let's look at the grips and talk a little bit about the sights. Now the Smith & Wesson Model 36 has a very traditional walnut grip, really beautiful look to it. An old school revolver guy like me just really does get into this look. Now I have a relatively big hand, so this grip does not fill out as good as a Ruger LCRx. However, it does work for me without a problem. Now the sights on a Smith Model 36 are really basic. There you go. They are not removable or interchangeable. About the best you could do to improve this sight is throw a little paint on top so that you can acquire it more readily. Looking at the Ruger LCRx, you can see a substantially bigger rubberized Hogue grip. This grip will really fill out a large hand. It gives you immediate purchase. The rubberized portion really helps stick. I would definitely have to say advantage Ruger LCRx on that, but with the one big consideration, which is that is going to be a much bigger grip. If you are considering this gun for concealed carry, you need to realize that this rubberized grip will catch fabric. It will lift up a shirt, whereas the wood grip does not do that. Now the sights on the Ruger LCRx, hands down superior. You will get rather immediate sight acquisition with this white dot sight, and they are interchangeable. You can buy other sights without the use of a gunsmith. So sight advantage certainly goes to LCRx, but I am going to argue that sights on a snub-nosed revolver might as well not exist. I mean, these are not range guns, and if this is a self-defense gun, and at 38 special 5 rounds, that's really all it is. I would call this a belly gun, so if you're going to be using this for self-defense, you're probably going to be defending someone who's no further away than your TV set, in which case you're not going to be using sights. Now, one of the main things I want to talk about is the trigger system on these guns, particularly the Ruger LCR and the LCRx. Now, I had watched so many reviews and read so much, and people just went on and on about this non-stacking trigger pull system. I don't have the specs, as I said earlier, but what I discovered only after purchase is that this trigger comes in at right around 11 pounds. That is a long, hard trigger pull. Is it smooth? Is it non-stacking? Absolutely. As you pull the trigger, it does not build up resistance. So I want to go ahead and pull it back a few times for the camera, give you kind of a visual idea of what it looks like. It breaks. I'm still pulling. I'm still pulling. It breaks. I'm still pulling. Breaks. At this point, I am pulling back what feels like maybe 2 to 3 additional pounds. Try the single action, also very long. Now let's compare the Smith & Wesson Model 36, the notoriously long trigger pull. It breaks, fire. Brakes, fires. Fires. Single action. Truly one of the smoothest triggers I've pulled on a revolver. The Smith, by the way, from what I can tell, tends to come in right at 9 pounds. Now, one of the last things I want to show you is kind of the size differences of these guns. Again, I'm not giving you exact measurements, but you're going to see there is a noticeable difference in the Ruger LCRx. And I thought this was a really cool way to kind of show you. This is the original box with its foam packing material. And you can see it's packed in there nice and snug. Nice and snug for shipping. Now I'm going to take the Smith & Wesson Model 36 and throw that in there. And you can really see how much wiggle room exists between these two guns. So just be aware, this is going to be a larger firearm, especially when you're considering the size of these grips as compared to the Smith & Wesson Model 36. Well, folks, as the title would suggest, I am an amateur, and I do not take the time to get to the range very often and put several hundred rounds through any given gun. So that being said, if you are willing to take the time to do so, you can indeed become proficient with either one of these guns, and you'll have to decide, if you're considering one of these, which one may be the right one for you. Now, one of the last things I want to say is that I was not able to see these guns in store, handle them in store. But I will tell you that had I seen the Smith & Wesson Model 36 and handled it in store, there's no way I would have left that store without this gun. You know, I really had an immediate connection with this firearm. And I think that's important. You know, it's of course, it's how does it feel in your hand, but you've just got to feel a connection with the firearm. So this would have been and was a no-brainer for me as far as purchasing. This is one of the guns that I will absolutely keep forever and never trade in. On the flip side, had I handled this in store, I would not have left with it. I just have no connection with this firearm. Now, I am in no way, shape, or form disparaging Ruger firearms. They make incredibly high-quality firearms, and this is one of them. In fact, I will tell you that in my relatively small collection of firearms, 3 of them at this time are Rugers. And although the video is not about this, I would argue that the best all-around concealed carry gun you can purchase is the Ruger LC9X. Well, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you found it to be informative, and if you'll please hit the like and subscribe button, that would be very helpful. If you want to comment, go ahead. Just remember to be nice.